Good morning, everybody. 8 a.m., June 29th. Welcome to my channel. Now, yesterday, Friday, we pushed up pretty strongly. And now remember, I was live saying ultimate balance around 74.44s in the ES is going to be hard to really stay above that, right? And then we grind it, kind of sold off lower and really into the close. There was a monster selling candle, like huge, right? And then there was tensions in the Middle East. Okay. And then waited to report that they agreed to not strike each other. And the market liked that. Hence, the market is up now. By no means are we out of the woods. Okay. By no means. Okay. Now, about my trade, I had a beautiful long based right on my pre-market scenarios. My weekly expected move indicator was flashing to me. The short is the hard trade. The long will be easier, and that came to fruition. Okay. Now that weekly expected move indicator, I give away for free on my Discord. I will post that after my stream. I usually do it, but I wanted to keep it fresh on my screens to show everybody again of why that trade, it's so important to have that. Because if I didn't have something that told me the market's overextended to the downside, I wouldn't have had confidence of pulling that long. So it's an edge that I provide for free, right? And just real quick, every Friday, right, the market closes, and then the options market prices in the expected move for the following expiration, which happens to be this week, Thursday, right? So it's the market, the options market's pretty transparent, right? There's no hiding in the options market. You buy a call, you close it, it's volume. You have a call, it's shown as open interest, okay? So it's very transparent, and then everybody's hand is shown. So the market, the options market, based on Black-Scholes, that won the Nobel Peace Prize, by the way, has all these probabilities in it. And one of them is an expected move. Okay. So what that means is my indicator will give you the range that's expected for important tickers in our market, along with a lot of indexes. Okay. 70% of the time, markets will close within inside those ranges. Okay. 70% of the time. That is a huge edge. Okay. That is a huge edge. Now, if I just put you on a daily chart of the SPY, right? Now this nasty wick, but look where it closed, right on my expected move, right? And let's just go to the QQQ. It's much easier. I hate that wick that's in the SPY. Let's just go to the QQQ, okay? So when you put that indicator on your chart, you'll get the expected move bubbles up here that tell you the range, and will also tell you the previous week's close, right? So there's the previous week's close, right? And if we bring this down, you can see, let me just bring this down. So it gives you the previous week's close, the expected move to the upside, expected move to the downside. Okay. Look where that market tried to go lower. How many times? 1, 2, 3. Look where it closed. Right on the weekly expected move. Now, I have a script that I run from via Python proprietary script with certain other little modifications, because some stocks aren't the most liquid, like maybe like a Coinbase, meaning their strikes aren't $1 apart like SPY and QQQ. So you have to do some other kind of formulas in there to give you an expected move. Okay, so pretty cool, right? That right there, the expected move. Look at SPY, closed right on its expected move. Pretty crazy. Okay, SPX, it closed as above its weekly expected move, but just when it keeps hitting it, I know, oh, there's limited downside. Now, also in the expected move, okay, if a certain stock rips, I mean rips way below it or above it, oh, that stock can run. Okay, but if it hangs around it, then it's probably the low is in. And it's a big edge. Why? Because like let's say Nvidia, let's say, right? Nvidia, now here's a case where it kind of broke it, right? And stayed below it. See how violent it tried to come back, but it kind of hung out below it, right? All I would say is, well, if you move there, I'm not probably a fan of a short. Okay. Now, if I switch, I'm going to switch my list. Let me switch this real quick just to give you. So Micron this week is my first week I'll have expected move. It's not loaded yet, okay? But let's go through some stocks just to give you an example. There's that Broadcom, broke it, expected move to the downside, right? There's Meta. Look at that hold of the expected move to the downside. Okay. Eli Lilly, look at that. Broke. See how when you break it and rip, it can rip. Broke its move to the expected, to the upside. Microsoft. Notice this day. Broke it, and what did we do? Whoop. Got big time bought, right? AMD. AMD did not breach any expected move. Nvidia did. We just had that. Amazon also did. Look what it did. Whoop. Right back, right? Let's see, Google also did. Right? It kind of hangs out. Caterpillar had a strong week. All right? I don't think I have expected moves for Caterpillar. Okay. Netflix, right? Broke that 75, that major level, and it was like hanging out, and then whoop. Okay. Tesla, look what it did. Right to the expected move and ripped up on Friday. Apple, look at that. Whoop. Comes right back, right? You like my sound effects? Now GE, look at that. Hit its expected move to the upside. Notice what it did. Wick, boom, right? Berkshire Hathaway, that didn't hit an expected move. JP Morgan actually did. Look at that. Breached its expected move and ripped back. I think you get the point, right? This week, Micron will have it, right? And let's just see if the Dow. I'm just curious on the Dow. Let's look at the Dow. I also have the Dow in here. Look at that. The Dow, interesting. He almost hit its expected move to the upside. And then we'll just check out one more. Will be the Russell. See what that did. Okay, because I know the Russell was relatively stronger last week. Look at that. Didn't hit any expected moves. All right. I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that it's a very big edge to have that indicator. Okay. Especially when everything is breaching expected moves to the downside. Okay. Now, with that being said, okay, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and bond profile to find structure marks among supply and demand gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. It's where I come up with my game plans. Now, once that market opens up, I use my market internals. That lets me know where money is going off the open. It's very important. Okay, very, very important. Anchor VWAPs, gamma flip points that I also give away for free on my Discord. Trust me. I put those on your chart, and you will see the reactions. I don't know if any community members are live with me now and they can say in the chat, at least say like, whoa, those gamma levels are sick. Trust me, you will never, you will never not want to have them on your chart. Okay. Now throw a little ICT in there, and then you have my own proprietary trading system. Okay. Now, hopefully you join me every morning. Do this every day. Give you the market story, the market news, the economic calendar, technical analysis, and then later on in the stream, I give you the long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and the ES futures. If you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. It's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay. Now we're going to start right off with futures watch list. Nasdaq's up 1.22%. Bitcoin's up 1%. Tried to keep breaking that 60K. Okay. ES up 0.88. Crude is up 0.79. Ethereum up over 0.5%. Russell up over 0.5%. The Dow is up almost 0.5%. 10-year yield is up 0.18. 30-year bonds is flat. Dollar had a nice move last week. It's kind of flat, down 0.13. The VIX is down 0.65. Gold down 0.75, and silver down 1.5%. Silver and gold been getting destroyed. Okay, that's that dollar strength. Max 7 plus. Here we go. Broadcom up 2.40%. Meta getting a lot of love. Remember I talked about the XLC sector being oversold. Okay. And lo and behold, that's the leader this morning in sectors. Let me get to it. I was about to put a position on too. I've been talking about it, right? But you got to do it, right? You got to do it. All right, up almost 2%. Microsoft up 1.75. Microsoft was getting destroyed last week. Eli Lilly had a monster week last week, up 1.73. AMD up 1.14. Nvidia up 1%. That hasn't been doing nothing lately. Okay. Google up 0.98. Amazon, everything's up. Nothing is a laggard in this list, but interesting enough, Micron's flat. Micron's flat. All right. Top sector. Palantir got destroyed last week. Now, probably maybe an opportunity to buy some now. Up 4.5%. Oracle also has been getting destroyed, up 4%. Qualcomm is just a wild stallion, up 1.78. GE Vernova up 1.13. And then safety plays, Costco down 0.06, Johnson & Johnson down 0.46, and the mining, NEM, is been getting destroyed. I definitely think that's a buy in the future. But right now, the dollar strength, I'm not going to touch it. Okay, sectors. Oh boy, that hurts. XLC. That hurts me. That hurts. I'm not going to lie. Up 1.79. Technology up 1.5. 1.5%. Semis up 1.25. Discretionary up over 0.5%. There's nothing red today, folks. Nothing at all. Okay? Economic calendar. Let's do it. Now, today we have Dallas Fed at 10:30. Doesn't generally move markets, okay? What do we have this week? This week, it's all about unemployment and non-farm payrolls on Thursday. It's really what it's about. Okay? It's really what it's about. And I talked about the halt on attacks in the Middle East, which has given our markets a little bump. Okay. It looks like Levitt is on Fox talking. Okay. Trump's schedule today. Everything's closed press. All right. Let's look at some news. Comcast to split its cable business from media from NBC, Universal, and Sky spinoff. BT, Verizon join forces to create $4 billion international joint venture. Pfizer innovate GLP-1 drugs clear China insurance hurdle. U.S. allows Anthropic to release Mythos AI to trusted U.S. organizations. And let's see here if there's anything I don't know about. Let's see. JP Morgan cuts target price to Nike from 47 to 47 from 52. That's what I see here. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Now, what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at some breadth charts. Let's look at some breadth charts. All right. First thing we're going to look at the 20-day moving average. 20-day moving average. 62% of stocks over the 20-day moving average. Okay. 50-day moving average, a little slower one. 64% of stocks over their 50-day moving average. All right. Now, you know we're going to go to the bullish percent indexes. All right. Let's go to that S&P 55. Okay. 55% of buy signals are S&P 500. That is middling, folks. That is not strong. That's not weak. It's middling. NDX. Ooh. Oh. This was getting oversold. All right. This was getting overdone. Now, I'm not sure if this is it. As my boy Mr. Randy Brand would say, is this it? I don't know. But that's interesting, right? Interesting. All right, tech sector. Let's look at it. Look at that. At one point, only 24% were on buy signals. Whoop. All right. Now let's look at the other big one, financials. That's the one that hurt me a little bit, JP Morgan, because it was getting a little overbought. And JP Morgan really ripped down after it went over its expected move to the upside. Okay. Now the communications is the one that's making me cry this morning, because I've been talking about it, right? I've been talking about it. Look at that sucker. It was down to 30. Now this morning, it's hurting. It hurts a little bit. All right. Now, let's go to one more chart here. My dispersion spread. Move over to lines with markers. Here we go. Let's go to that spread. Now we were at extreme levels again. Okay, I just want you to give you an example. If I zoom out, right? In the history of this spread, I want you to notice something. These were the highs, 26.44 in this spread. These were constantly the highs, right? And when we reached here, the market sold off. So if we look down here, every time it peaked, sold off, right? And then the big sell-off here, right? This mimics the market, but we are again at all-time highs near it of dispersion. This means it's a stock picker's market still. The markets are not working together. It's a red flag. Doesn't mean the market can't go up again. I'm just saying it's a red flag. Okay? Big time red flag. Moving on. Let's go to a little market internals recap here. Boom. Boom, boom. Market internals recap. All right, so internally, we were strong. Okay. Now, towards the end of the day, it didn't look so strong, but up here, you were looking great. And right here, I would say about in this is the SPX, but I got long about right in here in futures. Probably like right in here if it was the equal, right? And I caught the majority of that move. I could have got that, right? Of course, but I'm not going to complain. Okay. So basically, this was just telling me the market wasn't really going to go down much. Now, after that move, I was glad I was out because that market was not easy to watch. It was like not very good price action. Okay. Not at all. Not at all. All right, moving on. We're going to look at some daily charts now. Boom, boom. So here's daily, SPY. Okay. Let's look at our SPY. Right. And we did break this trend line. And then just had a monster move down into the close. Okay. We were underneath the 50-day moving average. But again, this market's nuts. So it's at 737.40s right now. We are all the way back above the 50-day. And guess where we're at? Right around the 9 EMA daily. Okay. Now, let me do something here. Let me do something here. I just want to click a setting. Yeah, this should be 0. Okay. So we made new weekly ranges last week. Okay. Almost went to a previously monthly low on that big move down, which really it was only happening at the end of the day. Let's look at futures though. Okay. So here's futures. Remember this heavy overhead supply. Okay. And look what we're doing. You took out all these lows and now you're pushing back up. But you have heavy resistance here. And then you have a supply zone ahead of us. All right. That starts around, the 75.11s around. Okay. 50-day moving averages right here. 9 EMA daily. See how they're all kind of flattening out? That just tells you what a market's doing, right? This is up, rising, but it's starting to flatten. The 9 EMA is pointing lower, but flattening. 20 days sloping lower. Tells you everything you need to know. Okay. NASDAQ. Now, I just showed you we came down into this demand zone. And we actually hit the 50-day moving average in the QQQ. Right? So, where are we now, though? 715.80s. 715.80s, you're slightly gapping up. It's very slight. Okay? Slightly. And just look at the moving averages again, right? You got a rising 50. So that tells you the overall trend is still higher. 20-day is declining, starting to decline. And then 9 EMA, the faster one, is declining, right? There's a trend line right here. So, what did I say we're at? 715.60s now. 715.60s. Okay? Let's see. It's a bunch of garbage here. It's not going to be easy, all right? NASDAQ futures. Okay, so this is just thick trading here, okay? Meaning there's not an easy ride up. Just not. There's not an easy ride up, okay? 50-day moving average support. And look, the moving averages are sloping lower. You got this thick trading. You go back all the way to here. Can we say there's a range from all the way here, right? If we're just going to really look at this together, right? That's since, what is that, May 7th? We haven't really gone anywhere since May 7th, okay? And it's Monday, okay? And it's Monday. So remember, this is last week's lows, last week's highs. Big range, okay? Let's see what we do. This is not promising at all for good price action for right now. Of course, something can happen. All right, of course, something can happen. All right, moving on. Now, we're going to get into hourly charts now. And this is a very ugly chart, okay, that I'm going to show you. Let's talk about the hourlies. Hourly charts here. Just get my marker out. Alrighty. So, look at this trading. Just look at this. Look, gross, gross, gross. Right? That is not appetizing, folks. So, we are in a major supply zone right now. We just hit an overlapping supply zone. Okay? Now, month-to-date anchored VWAP, so sellers are still in control of the month. Now, the week just started, however, obviously it's a green anchored VWAP. But look at this trading overhead supply. That is not going to be easy to cut through. It's not. Notice how, yeah, we moved up here. Ultimate balance is 74.40s. This is a little feather in the cap for the bulls now, if we accept price above this level. However, this might just become one big bounce area. Okay? Like I said, there's not a lot. This is a tough road for longs up in here. All right, you made the move, but it's a tough road. Okay? It just is the way it is. It just is that way. Now we have some demand here, and we're in supply. And whenever I have overlapping demand with supply, it automatically tells me caution. Caution. Monday, caution. Hold on, folks. All right. Now, let's go to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ kind of looks the same, right? So, if we look at this again, a lot of trading volume, right? We are in. And now the NASDAQ is actually positioned lower in the structure. Notice ultimate balance is around the 297s. This is ultimate balance, the most traded price of the month and the week. You, my friends, are in the chop zone in the middle of this. This is disgusting. Okay? This just means a heavy road of supply above us, right? And we're in the most agreed upon price in the NASDAQ. So what does that mean? All long and shorts, I've been trading this price for the most. People's behavior. Okay? That's the beauty of the volume profile in telling me this is the most traded price of the month and the week. Why? Because I know it's super crowded. And super crowded doesn't make for great price action. Okay? We will eventually do this or do this. Okay? But when you're in there, poof, not great. Okay? Not great. Now, there is some poor structure above the 29915s, right? There's still a bearish for value gap here that has not been taken care of. So, but that it has a lot of work to do to get up there. Does it get up there eventually? Probably. Still have an unfilled gap above us. Okay, but even this price action to get back down is blech. Okay? Like I said, this isn't like, oh my God, I can't wait. No. Nope, nope, nope. Remember, that's an edge as well. Okay? To know, okay? I'm not licking my chops here going, I can't wait for this market to open. No. Nope. Now, intraday, could something present itself? Of course. But right off the bat, I got to know, all right, I mean, I have to see how things shake out, really. All right, now this is your market profile and volume profile now. My preferred way to look at the markets, okay? I just love how this looks. Because right off the bat, for myself, I can see the overnight session in the lighter shaded, and the darker shaded is the regular trading hours, okay? And right off the bat, it just shows me a lot, okay? Now, we know ultimate balance. Oh, sorry, this is the NASDAQ. Hold on. Hold on. ES, ES, ES. Okay. So for the ES, we are gapping up, very small, into overhead supply. Remember what I said. This is not an easy road. I can't stress that enough. And again, when I speak, it's in probabilities. Of course, positive bullish news can come out, which can move and break TA. Okay. However, let's look at some key levels. 74.96. Everybody has to see this. This is what I call a confluence high. It's also an unfilled gap above there. All right. If we make it there, that is definitely going to be a draw on liquidity. Prices will be attracted to that if we go higher. Okay. Do we make it up there? I don't know. Okay. Now, small gap up. So your 74.59s becomes your gap fill. That's your Friday's highs. Okay. Now, ultimate balance, the 74.40s. Price is above it. A small little win for the bulls. What do we have below us? 73.60 to 57s. That becomes a confluence low as well. So you have major levels around the 73.57s and the 74.96s. Can this become the new balance area? Possibly. Because if you get resistance here and come back to here and you get support, guess what, folks? That's a balance area. Okay. Now, let's get into long short trade scenarios in the ES. Okay. We're going to break out the session. And I still don't even know what I'm going to say. Right? Until I look at it. Okay. Let's get into some scenarios. Ooh, we got another nice little confluence here that I'm going to point out. All right. There's some levels we're going to talk about. Okay. One more level. And if Randy Rand, my good friend, is watching, value area low, which is 7,400 psychological level. Guess what, folks? It's also the overnight low. So the overnight low becomes very powerful because 70% of the trading, which is value area, that is the low, and it makes it a confluence low with the overnight lows. Now, what is the other edge? We are 100% net long in the overnights. There is no shorts. We just opened and fired. And we're at the top of the session. Guess what that means? There's a high chance for a correction. Everybody's long. Guess what? Everybody's long from the lows here and from the overnight lows. Okay, 100% net long in the overnight. That, my friends, is an edge. Okay, so with that being said, we are in heavy supply. We know we're kind of overly long for near term. Now, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with shorts. Got a nice little excess high here. Kind of hit a previous weekly low, I believe. Okay, in heavy supply. Now, what could we see here? Well, let's say we push up, sweep those overnight highs, come back into range, put in a lower high, right? That, my friends, with the 100% net long overnight inventory, I would expect a nice, swift move to ultimate balance, 74.40s. Then you're going to go to 74.20s, the most traded price of Friday. Now, that's another confluence low. Okay, a nice swing low with the most traded price of Friday. That's also going to cause a move lower to what the next confluence low was. I told you 7,400 overnight low and value area low. Okay, we already took some of this big demand out a little bit, so that gives us the way to go down all the way to the 73.60s, 73.57s, last week's lows. Do we break it and go farther? I don't know. But trust me, this won't take much. This won't take much. And then we're just like, okay, I guess we're back down here. Okay. Now, anywhere in this area, okay, major demand zone from 74.52 all the way up to 74.96. Okay. I have to really see, but I'd want to see this happen very quickly. But let's say we just ran We gapped and gold, went to 74.96 into the unfilled gap. Remember, this is where the rubber meets the road here. If we come in here and get, boom, reject it, lower high, short that puppy, target 74.40s. That would be considered the balance area highs then. Okay? Longs. Longs. Now, whenever we're in a major supply zone, I have to have longs do some work for me. I don't go long because, you know what? I know that ain't going to be a trade I'm going to love to be in. Okay? So, what if the market does a little gap and go and we only make it up to here? Okay? We don't make it up to 74.96, but we build up some volume here in acceptance, but then we pull back. What do we pull back to? Gap fill, 74.59. And let's say there's a demand zone here, right? We dip our toe in there, get some buyers, put in that lower high, and then higher low, I'm sorry. Now you go target the 74.96s. Now, if there's enough strength, do we fill the gap? 75.27s? I don't know. I do not know. Now that is red, but should be green. Okay. That should be green. So let's change that color because I made that mistake. Okay, so boom. Find acceptance, pull back, gap fill, into demand, long, go to 74.96s, possibly gap fill. You do not want to see the market below 74.40, so I'll give you one more fast, quick pullback. 74.40, hold it, long, right? Go long, target 74.73s and 74.96s. Okay? Now, if we do bring ourselves all the way down here, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to want to be looking for a long there. It could work. It could work. Okay? Let's move on to the NASDAQ. Let's move on to the NASDAQ. Let me bring this down. Okay? Remember, we are right in the smack of ultimate balance, the 297 area. Okay, so let's get into the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ futures here. Okay, let's break out the session. It's interesting what's going on here now. The last week I just checked, the ES was gapping up, and now the NASDAQ was gapping, but now it's starting to go back into the range. Okay. Now the 297 area, this area is ultimate balance, folks. Most traded price of the month and most traded price of the rolling week. That is a crowded area. Okay. Now, what I will guarantee you is this. We are going to make a big move eventually from this level. That is guaranteed. The more we coil around this area, boom, the bigger the energy comes out. And it's a big edge to know 297 is the most agreed upon price of the last month and the week. Because the most traders are agreeing that, oh, you know what? I'm buying and shorting here. Everybody's buying and shorting there. The most contracts traded. So how do we play that? Well, you want to see if there's acceptance above it. Boom, hold it. You go long. Acceptance below it, hold it, push in, fail, you go short. That's how you play it. That's how you play it. Okay? In this area, choppy. When you're in this area, there is not a lot of, for me, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be like, market, show me. Market, show me. Show me, show me, show me. Now, I'm not going to gamble and be like, I know it's long here. No, I don't. I don't know that. All right? I'm going to be the first to tell you, I do not know. Whoever says they do know is a liar. They're a snake oil salesman. Okay? Rule not like that's the first thing you can know. When someone says, "Oh, I know," nobody knows. Come on. All right. So we're gonna talk about the short. Okay. We just swept Friday's highs right in here in ultimate balance. Now there is demand, a couple demands down here. Okay. Same thing I talked about earlier. What do I want to see? Now, when there's all these stacked demands and we're in the very, very thick trading, I want to see some sellers do some work for me, right? So take out some demand zones, clear the way for me. So we're in ultimate balance. What can we do? Let's say we break this demand and this demand, okay? Those demands for the NASDAQ. First one spans from 29688s to 29619s. The next one is 29594s to 29492s. Okay? So I would like those shorts to take those out for me. Maybe we're going to take this one out. So let's see. I would like a drive from ultimate balance, take out these demands, and guess what? Get some buyers come back in. And guess what you're going to retest? The 297 area, ultimate balance. If you get rejection, that's a short. You're going to target Friday's close, 293.51s, overnight lows, 292.80s. Guess what we have here, folks? The 29182s to 29160s is basically a confluence low we can break. And boy, oh boy, can that roll. Now, I don't know if it does that. Okay, might get support, might be the balance area. Okay. Now, what can also happen? Let's say we're in ultimate balance. This is called an inside out trade. We are going to push up or down from this level. It's guaranteed. Okay, so what if we take out the overnight lows? Right? We take them out. And well, guess what? We don't find acceptance above this. You drive price lower. Then retest ultimate balance, the 297 area, the short, and the same targets. Okay? Those are the easier shorts. Longs. Longs. Okay? Let's look at some levels. Now, we are 100% net long in the overnight inventory. So I didn't mention that in the shorts, but we also are 100% net long. Remember, overnight trading are weak hands. They're the weak hands. Okay? So, let's look at the long. So, remember I said inside out, right, from ultimate balance. So, what do I want when I have overhead supply? Well, guess what? I want the longs to take care of some work for me. So, if we drive up into the supply, right? Maybe we tap this, what level is that? We're on the 299 area. Let's say we hang out here, hang out. Guess what? What am I going to look for? Pull back to ultimate balance, 297 area. If it holds, you go long. And now you can try to target. There's a bearish for value gap. That's poor structure. That spans, it's a big one, from 2976 to 301.16. The 301.16 would be your target. Okay, that would take care of the poor structure from the past. So the NASDAQ has a nice little area, a little runway in the supply of poor structure. Okay, now there's an unfilled gap. Not sure if we get that high today above us. Okay, that unfilled gap is there. Still from the 301.98s to the 305.02s. Pretty big unfilled gap up there. Okay. Now, below this ultimate balance, can you get a long in? Sure you can. It's not my favorite. It's really not. Okay. So even if you did drop down, the only thing I could see here is, let's say your ultimate balance, you push, remember, inside out. You drop down into this demand. This demand kind of lines up with the 29450. It's a little not as much, but that's the 50% retracement of Friday's range. Maybe you get some love and you target ultimate balance here, 297s. Okay. Now, if we were to rip very quickly, all the way down to those 29182s to 29160s, sweep, find acceptance back inside the range, put in a higher low. This could be the balance area low, fire off back to the 297 area. Okay. Again, I have to see where money flows are. All right. Intraday really gives me more confidence of the story. Okay, folks. That's it for me today. Now, what is it about today? It's all about ultimate balance. And we could be forming a balance area. Now, I told you there's a little edge in both overnight inventories in the NASDAQ and the ES. Both are 100% net long. We also have longs from the lows of Friday. Makes me think there's a high probability of a nice little correction. Okay. Number 2 is the ultimate balance levels. In ES, you have 7440s. Okay. Remember, ES is hanging out above that. That's a little feather in the cap for a bull. In the NASDAQ, you have the 297 area. And remember, the NASDAQ is inside the ultimate balance area. It's inside a chop zone. Okay. Today is Monday. I don't see an easy road down or up right now. Something will have to come up intraday for myself to get more confidence. Okay. That's what we're dealing with today. All right. Smash the like button if you enjoyed my analysis. That'd be much appreciated. Now, hopefully you join me every day. Subscribe, set that alert. Give you the market story, the market economic calendar, market news, technical analysis, and I just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and NASDAQ futures. Now remember, if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay? Because every day from my stream, okay, I have my little AI assistant. My words give you my scenarios. And just remember what I wrote. That gave me a long Friday morning. I'll read it real quick. Macro overview, cautious. Structurally bearish. ES below ultimate balance, 7440s. NASDAQ below, 297s. SPY, QQQ, SPX, all hitting. Expected moves to the downside. Multiple major stocks breached. Expected moves. Netflix, Nvidia, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. Semis weak. MU down 5.69. AMD down 3.5. VIX near 20. Equal weight strong yesterday while market cap weak. Huge divergence. However, we just undercut lows into major demand, overextended and price back inside yesterday's range. Sneaky longs possible. Crowded price action. Not ideal for big moves. Here we are. Right there. Sweep the 73.65 equal lows. We did exactly that. Put in a higher low. We did exactly that. Hold above overnight. VPOC 73.85. 73.80 was my entry target. 74.17s. I got above that. Okay. Then 74.40. That's exactly what it did. Okay. So this will happen and come right out once I'm done with this stream. Now, everybody, hope everyone has a great day. Hope everybody follows the process. We have a plan here. Okay? We have a plan here. I should be going live in my Discord around 9:45 a.m. I hope you join me. If I don't see you in there, I'll see everybody tomorrow morning.